Today's guest is on a mission to create a global surf brand, despite at one point having to write a farewell letter to his wife and kids 80 kilometres off the coast of Sumatra. It's a roller coaster ride of an episode 476 of the award-winning Small Business Big Marketing Show, thanks to American Express.
Well, I said, welcome to a small business marketing show, where successful small business owners share their souls to take your marketing straight to the lead. Now, here's your host, Mr. Timbo Reid.
And welcome back to your weekly dose of big wave marketing. I'm your host, Timbo Reid. You, infinitely more importantly, you're a motivated business owner and you're ready to crank out some great marketing to build that beautiful business of yours into the empire it absolutely deserves to be. And a very big thank you to American Express business cards for making this very rad episode possible. Do you like my surfing terms that I'm dropping in here? Hey, big show today. Long-time listener and Surefire Boards founder Mick Slattery shares how he's on a mission to create a global surf and stand-up paddleboard brand despite some business and personal challenges that have been thrown his way. Another motivated listener wins big in this week's Monster Prize draw for implementing an idea that's completely rejuvenated their passion for their business. That's in their own words. I like it when that happens. And I'll let you in on next week's guest, whose clients have included, how's this for a list? Sir Richard Branson, Lady Gaga, and Tony Robbins. As per usual, team, there is marketing GOLD dripping from the ceiling over here at Small Business Big Marketing's HQ. So let's get stuck right in. Hey, apologies for last week's episode. Some of you might have noticed that the sound levels were a little out of whack. What you could do is you could delete that episode and re-download it because I updated it to a nice, crisp, fresh version. And a heartfelt thank you to listener Peter Cummins of computingeverywhere.com.au, who took the trouble of bringing that issue to my attention very promptly. So, Pete, you're a legend. I know you've been listening to the show for a while. Really appreciate it, mate. You're a good fella. Righto, let's meet Mick Slattery, who's the founder of Surefire Boards, a small stand-up paddle and surfboard business based in New South Wales. Now, he started the business as a side hustle in 2009. Love these side hustle stories. Before going full-time a few years later, only to contract an autoimmune disease that nearly crippled himself and his dream. Now, Mick made the trip up from Sydney to join me in my Noosa studio, which I'm very, very grateful for, where we talk about the challenges of taking the business from a side hustle to a full-time concern, what to do when a price war starts in your industry, how contracting an autoimmune disease changed absolutely everything for him, his family, his business, the joys of manufacturing in China, and plenty more business and marketing insights. So enough from me. Let's go and meet Surefire Boards founder Mick Slattery. So, Mick Slattery, finally, mate, welcome to the Small Business Big Marketing Show.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
I've just got one question for you, mate.
Yeah.
What's up? Hey? Clever. I had to get that out of the way.
Why not? Get it straight off the
Famous
bat.
from a dad joke. Says, get that one out of the way. We can talk serious business. But before we talk serious business, I have a confession to make around stand-up paddleboarding.
Okay.
I think it's really boring.
You're not doing it right.
I did it once, right? And it was on a flat river. It was down at Currumbin, down on the Gold Coast, right?
Yeah.
And I was really excited about it. And I thought, this is unreal. I'm going to do it. I'll do it once. And then I'm going to go buy two for my house up here. And just, anyone who comes along can take them out. And I was like, this is the most boring thing ever. Not only that, I lost my prescription sunglasses. So it's like, it left me a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh, that's no good.
No. I think it might be more fun in the surf.
it's definitely more fun in the surf.
Right.
Or where you can see the reef and everything underneath you when you've got good visibility.
Mate, I do that when I ocean swim every morning. I swam
there you
over
go.
some stingrays this morning.
Oh, beautiful.
And I got whipped by a stinger, so I'm not that happy. A little mark on my face. Hey, buddy, I reckon, just looking at your business and talking to you before you come on air, you are running a business that you absolutely love.
Love it. Love it. Can't say anything more about it. It's my passion.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
What were you doing before you started making stand-ups?
Project management.
Right.
Yeah, so...
Bored off your tree?
Sorry?
Were you bored?
I didn't mind the work.
Right.
But, yeah, I do get bored, you know. It's...
Generally speaking.
Well, I like trying new things, doing new things.
Yeah.
You know, pushing myself constantly, and yeah, I do get stale if I'm in something for too long and nothing's really happening. So
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So how did you get into the whole Surefire Boards business? It's your little kind of baby?
Yeah, so I dabbled in surfboard shaping throughout, you know, schooling and after school, hung out with surfboard shapers, learnt the craft. Everyone said don't go into that, no money in it. So, you know, went out, got a real job, did all that.
Don't you hate those people? I don't do that.
I do hate those people.
It's more about them. They're scared. You know, they don't want you to change or don't want you to go off and do something that they don't know about.
Oh, 100%. But, you know, I listened and, you know, shaped my own surfboards on the side and had, you know, it wasn't really a business. It was just shaping for mates and doing all that. And really loved it. Like, you know when you do things as a kid and you don't even know why you're doing them? So I used to analyse every board I ever picked up. Even like when I was 6, 7 years old, I'd pick up a board and I'd study it and, you know, look at the curves, look at everything about it. So that when I started shaping my own, I had a really good understanding of what, you know, why a board did a certain thing and what changes I needed to make. So I had a really good understanding anyway. And then it was, you know, back around 2007, 2008, we just had a flat spell and there was just no surf. And I really wanted to try stand-up paddling. So borrowed one, tried it, got out in the surf. It was super hard. But they were just big, bulky, just heavy. They weren't designed for surfing. Most of the paddleboards at the time were from windsurfing companies. So they were... You know, they weren't really designed for surfing, so I thought, I'm going to shape my own and use my surfboard shaping knowledge. And then realised, man, you can surf these things. Like, you know, I made them lighter, I made them responsive, you know, you could turn them and, you know, then friends are like, hey, you know, can you make
So
me
are you
one?
Still project managing, working for the man at this stage?
No.
Oh,
So
you're away.
I'm away. I went into it full-time in 2014.
Was that a hard decision? Doesn't sound like it.
Nah, not at all. No, I built it
So,
up.
mate, I'm going to make stand-ups.
Yeah, it was a side hustle for a couple of years.
Yes.
And then, you know, when it got to the stage...
Tell me about the side hustle. So doing it out of hours, getting home, working 9 to 5?
Yeah, working. Well, it was 7 till 3.
Righto.
So...
Probably surfing before 7.
Yeah, surfing before 7.
Getting home at 3.
Yeah, and then I'd just work on it. So I was using other people's shaping bays. So we did that for... I did that for 2 years, and then more and more people were saying, I want to get into stand-up, and then so go see Slats, you know, he's the man. But I didn't have cheap boards at that time. You know, to make them in Australia and all the materials and the labour, it's quite expensive. So, you know, that's why I started looking overseas, trying to get production boards made. So we started then getting samples made overseas, bringing them in, selling them. And just, it sort of happened organically, you know. I didn't set out to go, I'm going to make a stand-up paddleboard brand and get it into retailers and all that. It was very organic. The way
So
it
2
happened.
years into your side hustle, Mick, you go, okay, this is fun. This is what I've been put on this earth to do.
Yep.
And I'm going to make a go at this. I'm going to turn it into a business. So you resign, you start Surefire, you start the brand. Where'd the name come from?
Funny story. It started as SFS Squared. Which exactly right.
Nasty.
When you talk about business names, that's
Let me just write that down. SFS. Oh yeah, that was just
yeah. So no
plain.
one could say it. Like honestly, my wife would answer the phone and go, no one could say it. So we ran with that for about a year, and then just went, we've got to change it.
So was it Surefire? What was SFF? Anyway, what was it standing for?
So you can't even say it. It was actually, there was four mates that it was all like our initials. So it was sort of just when we got together, we had fun, and so I wanted to translate that into a brand and, you know, keep that vibe happening. But
Fascinating business names. Oh, they fascinate me because really, I was saying to someone the other day, you know, like Apple was always just a piece of fruit until Steve Jobs came along. So it's what you put into the name, but sometimes you just got to get the syntax and the way. Yeah, if you can't pronounce a name, then it's not a good name.
yeah,
right?
exactly right.
So Surefire came along. How?
So Surefire, we just threw names around. It took about 6 months.
6 months.
I still wanted, we came up with so many different variations, but I still wanted to keep the SFS in it. So Surefire Surf, SFS, sort of. And Surefire was, when I think about what I wanted for the business, it was, you know, our boards are 100% quality. Our boards are top of the line. Our boards are, you know, ahead of the game. So Surefire works every time. So it's sort
Awesome.
of,
You love it?
I love it.
So then, okay, so you're now working full-time for yourself?
Yeah, I do it. Now I've got another side hustle where
Really?
I do, I do.
You do get bored. You're
I
doing
do
something
get
you
bored.
love and you got another side hustle.
Yeah, so, or during winter, it's, you don't sell that many. So yeah, I do some consulting work and all that on the side. So
What kind of consulting? Business consulting?
Business consulting and project management, stuff like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I would have thought, I would challenge you on that to say that just, even though you're not selling as many boards, isn't that an opportunity to be working on the business, to be establishing partnerships, relationships, setting yourself up for when it is busy?
It is, but with 3 kids, wife and a
You've gotta
mortgage,
pay the bills.
I've got to pay the bills as well. So
How was it? 3 kids and a wife.
yes,
How was that transition when you said I'm going to go and work for myself? Because I imagine you took a hit and pay in the early days.
massive. Yeah, my wife's just a champion.
Awesome.
She 100% behind me.
What's her name?
Donna.
We love Donna.
We love Donna very much.
Good on her.
Yeah.
Good on Donna.
Yeah, she said, look, go for it. You know,
Yeah.
it's your passion, and
Oh, that's
she
awesome.
believed in me. And
Yeah. Has there been moments when you've looked each other in the eye and gone,
100%.
Sorry, darling.
Yeah,
Tell us about
100%.
one of those moments.
There's been 2 big moments in business. One of them was we were doing quite well, and then the influx of cheap boards. And when I say influx, I mean like every man and his dog. Yeah, they were like, oh, there's money in stand-up paddling. So they would, you know, your plumber down the road, the Sparky around the corner, they all go, oh, email China, I'll get a bunch of
Going
boards.
to Alibaba or going
Alibaba. So they'd go to Alibaba, they'd get the cheapest boards possible. They didn't design them. They didn't know anything about them. They'd just send an email, get a container of boards, and then go, oh, it's actually harder to sell these than I thought. So they'd drop the price, they'd drop the price, they'd drop the price. But when people look online and there's 30 people trying to get their money back, they go, oh, well, that's how much paddleboards are. I mean, in fact, today, like just 10 minutes ago, I got a message. Someone wanted to buy a paddleboard. I spent about a couple of minutes talking about things with him, and then he's like, I've got a budget of $550. And he goes, I want a paddle, a bag, fins, and a board. And I was like, you know, like people just, I don't know if they're just uneducated or they're...
Well, they're probably, I think they're uneducated and they're educated. They're uneducated in that they don't really know what a good board, a quality board is and what it can do for their paddling. And they've been educated by the market.
Correct.
To say that, because there's a shop down the road here in Noosa Junction, I won't mention the brand name, but that they say on their front window from $4.99, and you do get the bag and you do get the paddle. And, you know, from me, who was looking at buying one a year ago, I've gone, oh, that's pretty cool. I can say entry point $500.
Yeah.
Not knowing that it's just a China import and probably going to give me a really bad experience.
Yeah, there is a market for the entry level. Surefire's always been about probably your second or third board. You know, we actually looked at it as a business case, and looked at it and said, do we want to compete in this market? And we did the figures, and for us, there's just no money in it. And it's just a red ocean. There is so many people doing the cheap boards.
What's a red ocean?
Just blood. People sharks.
Okay,
And
let's
just,
not talk about that.
You know.
You surf and I ocean swim. We don't want to talk. We don't go there. So tell me, Okay, so that was a first kind of hiccup when you looked on her in the eye and gone, geez, this is interesting. We're being smashed by all these cheap imports. It's bringing the price down. It's educating the market in a way we don't want them to be educated. How do you, as the business owner who's trying to produce a quality product, manage that both mentally and from a commercial point of view?
Yeah, so we went like up further. So we concentrated on custom boards. All our marketing and everything was all about the quality of our boards, how well they surf, why they surf so good. We talked about the flex and all the different characteristics and the material we used. So when someone tries a board and goes, I really like it, I want to now get into surfing, they will then look to get a Surefire. And we're finding that a lot. And then once someone gets on our board, we've 95% of the time they stay with us, so they'll get 2, 3, 4 boards.
Is that possible? Can they try before they buy?
Yes, yeah, we've got demo models and that.
But that would be meaning buying a local level where you are in New South Wales and coming to your factory and taking one out. But you do a lot of online sales and a lot of retail wholesaling.
Yes, we do. So some shops will have demo boards.
Okay.
That they'll let the customers try.
It's hard, isn't it? It's like you got to have the self-belief and the strength of mind to say, you know what, quality is king.
100%.
Because I imagine, has this issue forced you to bring your price down to have an entry-level board?
Oh, we do have an entry-level board, yes.
You have to, obviously. It's
we have to. It's a fair chunk of the market.
Yep.
We're nowhere near as cheap as everyone else because we still, I can go to a cheap factory. I can use cheap foam, cheap resin, cheap fiberglass, but with my name on it, there's no way I'm doing that. I don't want returns. I don't want people coming back saying it delaminated at this, the fins smashed out. We reinforce all the fins with a high-density foam. We reinforce the standing areas. We do a lot of stuff to beef them up.
Yeah, a lot of love. A Surefire board.
I know when I sell it that person's going to have the best experience. Yeah. The worst thing is if someone buys a board and it's not the right board. It could be too small for them. They can't balance on it. Mm-hmm. They're going to turn around and go, this sport's terrible.
Yep.
I don't want to do it. Conversely, if someone's board falls to bits, they go, I'm over this. Mm. That's the last thing we want. We want to build up, build the sport up and get more people into it. So
I want to talk about that second moment where you looked Donna in the eye. And I know what that is, Mick. But before we touch on that, China, you'd mentioned factories, China. For you, that was a bit of a step into the unknown when you started Surefire. Yeah,
definitely. We China is. I don't even know how to explain China. China's
have just a go.
China's ridiculous.
And hello to all my Chinese listeners.
So basically, like if you go to Alibaba and you just try order something, you're not dealing with a factory. 99% of businesses on Alibaba are trading companies, which is just like you or me say, we make paddleboards. So. For instance, if you're on Alibaba, you could say, you make paddleboards. You then try get orders, then you come to me and go, hey, Mick, can you make me a set of paddleboards? So you're never really dealing with the factory. Even if you go over and visit the factory, that trading company will take you through a really good factory and say it's theirs. And they'll say, no, it's our factory, it's our factory. You'll go for a tour of that factory. That's not their factory. They're just, it's set up between them.
Sounds like something you do in North Korea.
Yeah, and then, you order and then they'll go down the road to a cheaper factory because they want more,
So just explain, why are you going to China in the first place? Because you make you custom make your boards here in Australia in your factory. You're buying a certain amount, are you, or you're getting a certain amount made over there under the Surefire brand, under your specs?
Yes, so I've got... I hooked up with a really good factory early on, and the way I did that was, I actually went over there and visited a whole bunch of factories, and I think I went through the fake factory sort of thing.
That would have been a classic. Listeners, you got to understand, Mick I'm 6'4". I reckon you're 6'5".
Nearly, yeah.
Yeah, big boy, broad shoulders. You've walked into China.
Yeah.
Show me some factories, boys.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a classic. They would have seen you coming a mile away.
Definitely. And some of the first samples we got were terrible. You'd get maybe 1 or 2 samples that were good, so you'd put through. And I never then put through a big order. I'd put through maybe 10 pieces, and then those 10 pieces would be terrible. So I thought I need to get into good factories. So there's an Australian company called AKU, which makes a CNC machine specifically for cutting surfboards and paddleboards. So I rang them and said, can I have a list of every factory in China you've sold it to? So then I had 10 factories that have paid $100,000 for it.
They're serious.
They're serious. Because I used to say, have you got a shaping machine? Because I don't want them hand-shaped over there. Everyone would say yes, but you'd get the same photo back. Like, it's as if the same photo was circulating around and they'd all send the photos, right?
Yeah. Send Slats the photo of the board that's, the one we sent the other bloke?
Exactly right. So, and then I visited all those factories, and a lot of those are run by Westerners. So I hooked up with a Hawaiian guy in this factory. He was a shaper glasser. We had a really good rapport, and I've been working with him ever since. So I know he's a shaper. He checks the quality too. Everything's the
Mate,
best
you rolled the
material.
dice on that. I hear some horror stories about business owners going to China to get things made, and then, boxes will get delivered and they feel as though they're fairly weighty and your product's in there, and then you open them up and there's bricks or, something's just giving it a bit of weight and weighing it down. So, yeah, you've kind of you've stepped into the great unknown.
Yeah,
so you've come out and you reckon you've nailed it now.
Yeah, well, I fly over like once or twice a year.
Right.
Check on production as
You'd
well.
have
But I get photos all through the process as well, from the blanks, shaping, the whole.
I don't
whole way
imagine the
through.
Chinese are big on stand-up paddleboarding or surfing.
They are. They're starting to.
Are they?
Yeah, the last 2 years they've actually got some comps running, and they're
Wow.
starting to. Yeah, I've seen, because I've been there 10 years now, so it's
Okay.
I've seen the whole change. It's quite amazing.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but also with the China thing, this is another funny story. I was actually sitting in the office with this Hawaiian guy, and we're just chatting, and I get an email, and I get probably 10 emails a week of, hey, we make boards, get your boards done through us. All of them are trading companies pretty much. So anyway, it says, oh, we do this brand, this brand, this brand, and Surefire Boards. And I'm like, hey, what's going on here?
Yeah.
And there's photos of the factory, there's photos of the guy's car, and there's photos of my boards, Surefire Boards. And I said, what's going on here, mate? And he goes, who sent that? And he looks at it, he goes, no way, that's the guy that delivers the water cooler. He goes, last week, he came in and he goes, I've never been around your factory. I've been delivering water here for years. Do you mind if I have a quick look? He ran around, took photos, and then emailed all these businesses.
That's gold.
But
It's just a side hustle for him, mate. You had a
That's a
side
side.
hustle?
But he emailed info at Surefire Boards and says, we do Surefire Boards.
Wow.
It's,
He sort
not
of
the
had
smartest.
smart on one end, not so smart on the other.
Correct.
How's your cash flow management going? It's certainly not my strong suit. For the first few years of business, I thought my accountant told me to spend more than I earned. Got that wrong, didn't I? Fortunately, American Express business cards are built specifically with business owners just like you and I in mind. Their cards can be used to pay for everyday business purchases, helping you manage your business's cash flow whilst earning rewards along the way. Both their credit and charge cards provide up to 51 days interest-free, reward points that you can convert to travel, gift cards, or pay down the balance on your card. Plus, some of their cards are tailored for you to earn Qantas or Virgin Australia points directly. Gotta love that. We all need a bit of a holiday, I reckon. To find out more and get your cash flow under control, Google Amex Business after the show. We're chatting to Mick Slattery, who is the founder and head honcho at Surefire Boards. Makes stand-up paddle boards, sells a few accessories, bit of merch.
Yep.
Got the cap, got the T-shirt.
Yep.
Mick, the other time you looked Donna in the eye when things weren't going so well is when you discovered you had an autoimmune disease.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Not well. I'd been suffering for about 4 to 5 years, didn't know what was going on, just knew I was tired, couldn't think, not myself. A lot of anxiety, depression, just going downhill. Every doctor I went to said, of course you're tired. You're getting older, you got 3 kids and you run your own business.
Thanks, Doc.
Thanks, Doc, yeah. So it wasn't until I went to Indonesia 2 years ago on a surfing trip, and I didn't even want to go. I had no passion left in anything. And I said to Donna, I don't even want to go on this trip. She's like, come on, you know. So anyway, second day there, body just shut down, went into convulsions, whole body went numb, thought I was having a heart attack. We're 80 nautical miles off the coast of Sumatra, nothing around, on a boat, middle of nowhere. So woke one of the boys up, said, can you look after me? Wrote Donna and the kids basically a farewell letter. And anyway, when we come home, got tested and, had an autoimmune.
You were that crook that you wrote your family a farewell letter?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You still got that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so, it's still pretty fresh, but I was adamant, okay, I know what it is, what do I need to do? So I went to so many different specialists, researched everything, diet, meditation, acupuncture. Like I researched everything, did everything possible, on a lot of medication to block certain things and do other things. But in the last probably 6 months, I've really come good. So I'm surfing. Like if I surf for 5 minutes, I just sleep for 18 hours. Like I was.
You used to.
Yeah, I used to. Now I can surf all day.
You look as fit as a fiddle, mate.
Yeah, I've really come good. I'm back and I'm clear. I'm focused. Like 2 years ago, I couldn't make a decision. I'd walk around my factory and just look at things and go, okay, I need to do this, 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 and this, and then I go, it's time to go home. I've done nothing. Like I honestly, I was buckled. But now, crystal clear, focused.
So, what was the cure? What did you?
There is no one cure.
A number of different things.
Every doctor I went to almost gave me a piece of a jigsaw puzzle, and I put the jigsaw puzzle together myself and listened to my body and go, okay, that didn't help. That really helped. I'm going to try implement that. Does that help? Exclude that food. Do this. So there's not much I can really eat still, but what I can eat, I eat a lot of.
What is it?
So I can't. It's a classic. It's hard to go out to a restaurant. I can't have gluten, dairy, sugar, eggs, most nuts, ginger, tomatoes, yeast. Like the list goes on.
What can you eat?
Yeah, but basically meat and vegetables.
That's not a bad thing. So that's like a what do they call that?
Like there's paleo, all that type of stuff.
Paleo.
But so like there's foods I'm intolerant to and stuff. So
wow. So you just through a process of elimination and a doctor's advice, put the jigsaw together yourself.
Yeah.
And do you ever have relapses?
If I push myself too hard, but I'm pushing myself pretty hard. And my goal was always to paddle the Molokai race, which is 52 Ks between Hawaiian Islands. It's one of like a really hard race. And my goal was always to do that. And then when I got sick, I'm like, there's no way I can do that. So now next year, my goal is to do that.
What did that do to the business when you had that autoimmune disease?
Pretty much crippled it. Yeah. I just, simple things like I've got to ring this retailer and do this and put this order in, and a week later I'm like, I still haven't put that order in. Yeah.
Do you have income disability insurance?
Yes, but I didn't implement that.
Why?
I don't know. I went out and was
not cheap income disability insurance. Probably a good thing to use if you do get crook.
True. I didn't even think about it, to be honest. Yeah.
Maybe go back. I think it might be retrospective. I don't know. Who knows? Not to be discussed here because I have no idea. But it nearly crippled the business. But it didn't. You're here to tell the story.
Yeah.
When you say crippled, how low did we go?
We went really low. We were borderline going under.
Owed money, nothing coming in.
Yeah. But
how'd the relationship hold out? Donna seems pretty awesome.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah. She work?
Yeah, she works 3 days a week.
3 kids?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a good story, mate.
Yeah.
So now you're back.
Yeah,
Surefire is firing along, and you it's not a big business yet. What are your dreams for it? Do you want it to be a big business? Or
I
want
it to be an
be
international business. I don't know about a rip curl, but I want to be. The goal is to be the most recognised stand-up paddleboard brand in the world, and I've got a plan to implement to do that. We don't have to be the biggest turnover, but I want to be the most recognised.
How will you measure it? How will you know when you're there?
When someone in another country, when someone says, I want to learn paddleboarding, they say, go check out Surefire Boards YouTube channel or Facebook or Instagram.
Who's doing that? Who owns that spot now?
There's, you know what? There's not one person. Each person has their own little thing going on, and I've analysed everything, and it's mine for the taking.
What are the really good guys doing that you're not?
They have big budgets. No one's really showing behind the scenes, which is where I can come in. My knowledge of board design, construction, factories overseas, how you make paddles, how to surf on them. I've got a list of about 150 videos that we're going to do.
Oh, you have? That's interesting. Because I looked at your YouTube.
Yep.
You got a few videos up there, sort of rats and mice. With respect, I say that, but like. There's videos of you out there doing something, and another one. I mean, there's a couple of how-tos.
Yes.
And I noticed the two how-tos had the most engagement, which is no surprise because the how-to search on YouTube is the most popular search.
Yeah.
So you couldn't. Sounds like you're going down the path of what I would call helpful marketing, where you are going to have some kind of knowledge centre on your website where people can find. If they have any question about stand-up.
Yeah,
you're the guy to answer. You're the brand to answer it.
Correct.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I always say someone has to be the most helpful in each industry. It may as well be you.
Correct. Yeah, I really believe to make the brand bigger, it's about giving value. So we don't do, buy this, use this board, whatever. Like we will show the benefits, but we won't do the sales pitch at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want to bring value, and then when we do ask eventually for the sale, then people have already, they already know you, they're already comfortable.
It's interesting. I like that. The problem with it potentially is that you're not building emotion. You know how like Rip Curl's all about the search,
yep.
Right? And that's so emotional for any surfer. The search is all about finding the perfect wave. And I guess all big brands focus on emotion.
Yep.
And in your industry, in the surf industry generally, it's about being cool, right?
Yep.
Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, yeah.
So your strategy, although I like it, because someone has to be the most helpful, it may as well be you. It's not very cool. So how do you stay cool? Okay,
I disagree. I think paddleboarding inherently isn't seen as cool,
That's
but
boring.
why can't it be? But I don't understand why it can't be. Like for me, I surf on whatever craft's going to give me the most fun.
Yes.
So if it's a little closeout shorey, I'll be body surfing, or I'll grab a bodyboard and pull into the barrel. If it's big and barreling, I want to be on my shortboard. If if it's really tiny, I can grab a massive paddleboard, pop the fins out, and do spinners. I don't care. A finless little layer. Honestly, to me, it's getting out there and having fun.
I'm picking up what you're putting down, brother. Didn't understand a thing you said in the last minute, but it sounds very cool to me.
But like it's to me, it's just an extension of getting you out there and putting a smile on your face. I still remember when I was first shaping them, I went down to Cronulla and it was tiny. And this guy comes up and goes, "Oh, you're a gondola rider. Look at you."
Good on him.
I said, because it was really small, and I said, "What are you doing now?" He goes, I'm going home. There's nothing out there. And I said, well, I'm about to go out and have a ball, and I'll be laughing and carrying on. And so, who's the dickhead now?
Yeah.
And he actually looked down and went, yeah, you're right. So, like, I honestly don't
He's just a tough guy.
Yeah. Well, I think, I've had a lot of fun on my paddleboard in the surf. And
so does that? Okay, I like that thinking. Does that mean, therefore, that Surefire Boards becomes more than stand-up? And becomes a brand that basically, no matter what's going on out in the ocean, you can.
Well, definitely.
You can assure some fun.
I've got 13 different surfboard models in my range.
Okay.
We do foiling, so we got foil surfboards, foil paddleboards. We actually have got foils, the actual hydrofoils.
Yeah.
We've been doing prototypes for 2 years.
Yeah.
We haven't brought that to market yet because I'm not 100% on them, and I won't bring something to market unless it's 100% passes my tests. So yeah, we're expanding into a whole bunch of other areas.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, you can't do all this right now. I remember the email you sent me. You said you were doing it. You're doing everything. In fact, did I write it down? Because it was like, really, you're doing. Here we go. I pretty much run the entire operation from designing, shaping boards, sales, marketing, social media, website building and maintenance, sourcing overseas factories, quality control, shipping, accounting, customer service. Mick, no wonder you had autoimmune disease,
Oh,
mate.
no, tell me about it. Tell me about it. But
I mean, that's A, that can't continue.
no, definitely.
And B, something's going to break. So there's that decision you need to make as to, at what point do you start to employ and scale and
Yeah, so we've got,
maintain everything you've built yourself?
yeah. So we're in talks with a couple of investors at the moment. We've got interest from Hawaii, Taiwan, Japan, Italy. So I'm chasing those leads at the moment. I basically talking to a business development strategist as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're going to give away a slice of the company for some dough, and that dough you're going to put into what?
Well, it's not all about the money. If someone said, here's the money, but I've got no skills, I'm not interested.
Mm-hmm.
Someone has to have the skills I don't have. That's more important to me than the money.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's really good at building a business, really good at going internationally, and they've got that whole business side and accounting down, and I can stick with the artist side of things and doing what I'm good at,
that's interesting.
then we're a good match.
So you want to maintain that creative. What you love about your business is the creative side.
Yeah,
Going back to
definitely.
when you were a kid and looking at boards and
Yeah.
figuring out how they were shaped, and then, that'll be interesting because I often see, and I get a tinge of sadness when I see business owners who have been on the tools and they've built a great business, and then it gets to the point where they have to scale. And that means they have to get off the tools and employ others to be creative and be on the tools. And they're off doing business stuff. And some are made for it, but others, I look at them and go, oh, you're not really enjoying that. You're enjoying the fact that you're generating a whole lot of money. So your challenge will be to somehow be in the back room and continue to shape and design and, put all the love and care into these boards while someone else worries about the business side of things.
Yeah, I do like the business side of things, but not to the level.
Right.
I'm better at the artistic side of things. So I've also built my personal brand alongside it. So Mick Slattery is different from Surefire. We're together, but we don't have to be. So I've actually designed a range of boards for 2 other brands, and just got a royalty off.
Like white labelling it.
Yeah.
Here's the board, put your own brand on it.
Yeah, 100%.
Interesting.
So, because they know that my designs are good for surfing and all that. So, I see options everywhere.
Cool. Well, your challenge would be to kind of not lose focus.
Yeah.
You're a bit of a bright, shiny object kind of guy, are you?
Yeah, I am.
I love it. I don't mind a bright, shiny object. Mick, tell me about the marketing currently of your business. Don't imagine you have a huge marketing budget.
No, we dabbled in ads, Google ads, Facebook ads. Didn't really have much response for them. So what I've done is analysed the engagement you get through each different outlet. So Facebook, we used to post the same content on everything and it didn't work. So Facebook seems to be more, I get out from the surf, I just get the camera out, do a bit of a thing. Oh, I rode this board today, the conditions were this, I changed the fins up, it went like this, that type of stuff. Huge engagement with that. If I put that on YouTube, don't get any views. If I put a long form sort of video on YouTube and it goes well, like the how-tos, and I put that on Facebook, not the best. So it seems like people's attention spans are different for each different.
Well, I think what's happening, and I'm no social media guru, that's for sure. As a father of 3 teenagers, I hate social media. I've been on record as saying that, so I'm happy to put it out there. But as a small business marketing guy, I think it's amazing. And I think what you've identified there, and Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this in a book, he's a social media guru, who wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. What you've identified is what his theory is, which is each social media platform is different.
Yeah.
So Facebook is a party, right? You talk about where you are, who you're with, what you're doing, what brands you're enjoying, all that kind of stuff. It's just party conversation.
Yeah.
So coming out of the surf, doing a selfie video and going, I've just ridden this board, swell's awesome, I'm down at Cronulla, that's Facebook. Facebook loves that stuff, and the people on Facebook love it. Whereas YouTube, the how-to, it's much more of a kind of educational space.
Correct,
often
yeah.
YouTube, educational and or entertainment. And then like Instagram is more kind of, Gary talks about it being more where you glamify stuff, where you put your beautiful photos.
Yeah.
Notice you've got a couple of lovely photos on the front page of your website, surefireboards.com.au. Check that photo out. And then, so it goes like that, right? And LinkedIn is a networking event. So you have a business conversation on LinkedIn. You wouldn't put yourself coming out of the surf on LinkedIn. So, that's what you've identified.
Yeah.
And that's working for you.
Yeah, it's definitely working for us. And we're just continuing to choose the right content for different platforms.
Yep.
I compete at the state level, sometimes the national level in stand-up paddle surfing. So I know basically all the big guys in Australia, and so we get to chat. I've been involved with starting 3 clubs in Sydney, paddleboard clubs.
Oh, yeah.
One's a downwind club. The other was a mixture of racing and surfing, and then we've just got a new surfing one. So
you've started those clubs?
Yeah, I've been involved in starting them. Yeah, so
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's been over the 10 years. So it's we're just trying to foster that whole community aspect of it as well. So it's not any one thing that's been. I can't put my finger and just go, yeah, it's definitely YouTube, or it's definitely this, or it's definitely that.
Where do you make the majority of your dough? And where does the majority of your inquiry come from in your sales?
Through Facebook and Instagram. But I find that if someone watches a YouTube video, they'll then go and search you out on either of those platforms. So, and it's generally through, I'll put up videos of one of our models. After a few times, then people will start going, I really, I like the way that surfs, and I want that one. So, and most of our custom orders don't come through the website; they'll come through social media.
You know who you remind me a bit of, and I can't think of the bloke's name right now, but it's the guy who started Patagonia.
Okay.
You read that story?
I haven't read it.
He's written a book called Let My People Surf, which is basically, if the surf's up, his staff are surfing, right?
Yeah.
And past guest Jen Gill, who owns Mountain Bikes Direct, that's an 8-figure online mountain biking business. She also has that view. She only employs mountain bikers.
Yep.
And again, if the guys want to go out mountain biking, then they can. But the Patagonia guy is interesting because he's all about quality. In fact, he has this kind of view that please don't buy my T-shirts or clothes because you don't need another T-shirt or another jacket, right? But if you do, buy mine. And if it breaks, even after 10 years, he's got stores all over America where you can go in and get your zipper fixed or yeah. So there's a bit of you and him, I reckon. Not a bad thing. No. That's $1 billion plus brand.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't mind to
bit of
build
Patagonia.
it to that, yeah.
So 5 years' time, what's Surefire Boards look like?
Surefire Boards will be a multinational company. We'll have distributors in a number of countries. And I'll definitely have a business partner.
How many staff?
I reckon we'll have about five to 6 staff. Yeah,
nice.
Yeah.
That's nice and small.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be massive.
Uh-huh.
That's enough to encompass everything that needs to happen.
Give Donna what she needs, because she's an ace chick. That's enough to keep her in whatever she needs to be kept in. 3 kids. Any kids stand up or surfing?
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, my daughter loves it.
Oh, that's awesome, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, well, listen, Mick, awesome story. So glad you're over your autoimmune. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone who has it, what would you suggest? Is there I won't go back over cures or anything because you've done that. I was going to say, is there a number to call? But there's not. It's not like, don't call Lifeline.
There's not. There's just quickly, I joined a couple of Facebook groups all that, but most people were very negative on there, and you got to be positive.
Yeah.
You need to have a positive outlook, and you need to be willing to fight it and do whatever's possible.
Well, you got that, buddy, and I will direct everyone to surefireboards.com.au for all your stand-up surfing needs, bit of merch.
That's it. Oh, can I just say that we've just been nominated for Stand-Up Paddleboard Brand of the Year?
You have too. You have too. How remiss of me not to mention that. That's a big get. That's a really big get.
Massive.
Nominated by who?
So it's a big American stand-up paddleboard magazine, one of the biggest, and there's 30 brands represented.
And you're running third at the moment.
We're running third, so we're up against the biggest multinational companies, like multi-million dollar companies, and little old me's running third.
Buddy, when's that competition finish?
should finish very soon. So can you please go?
Well,
and
this
vote?
goes out in 2 weeks' time, so
okay.
it's a bugger. But that's awesome. I mean, that is in terms of, I asked you earlier, how are you going to measure when you kind of get to that point where you want to be?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. That recognition is mighty.
Yeah, it's very good.
And even coming third, not a bad outcome against some multinationals.
No, definitely.
Be some good publicity in that for you, I reckon.
Oh, I'll be grabbing onto that. Don't worry about that.
Working that like you work a nice right-hander. Mick Slattery, surefireboards.com.au is where you'll find him. Thanks, buddy. I wish you all the best.
No worries. Thank you.
High five. Is that what you do?
Shaka.
Oh, shaka. Doesn't make any noise, though. Thanks, buddy.
No worries. Thank you.
Well, there you go, team. Surefire Boards founder Mick Slattery. Fingers crossed he gets voted best stand-up brand for 2019. That'd be awesome. I'll let you know the result in a future episode. Big learning there. Like, even if he doesn't, it's great media coverage. He certainly looks like going to finish in the top 5 against some pretty big brands. And he's just this little bloke operating from his factory on the New South Wales coast. Little fellow now. 5 years' time, it'll be different. Thanks to American Express, here's what grabbed my attention from that chat with Mick Slattery. Attention grabber number 1. When a price fight begins in your industry, avoid getting caught up in it, because that, my friends, is a dead-end street. Instead, remain focused on what you're best at, what you love doing. And like in Mick's case, it's producing a quality product. Attention grabber number 2. I love how Mick remained positive through those tough times as he dealt with his autoimmune disease. What an incredible story. Like, instead of being the victim and looking for others to blame, he just said, there is an upside here and I'm going to find it. Glass half full kind of guy. Should be more of that. Attention grabber number 3. I just love Mick's overall enthusiasm. Like, he flew up from Sydney for the interview. He was so excited to be in the studio. He was taking heaps of videos. He even got me to ring a mate of his who listens to the show. Like, I just love it. Lose all pride. Just be excited. And then he was off to visit retailers in the local area. Like, he's just smashing it. Enthusiastic, on purpose, loving what he does. That's what grabbed my attention. Let me know what grabbed yours. I dare you. I dare you to pause the show right now and go to smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/476 and leave a comment in the show notes. Even if it was like, hi, Timbo, love your work. Or like, hi, Timbo, your work's okay, but could be improved by doing this, this, and this. I'm open to constructive criticism. smallbusinessbigmarketing.com/476.
Come on down. It's Timbo's Monster Prize Draw.
Oh, yes, indeedly doodly. It is time to reward another motivated listener who has taken some swift, some serious marketing action simply as a result of listening to this show. And today's winner is Dan Ianson of Applied Design, which according to his website specialises in the production and installation of environmental graphics and branding in the workplace. Quite a mouthful. I had to kind of check out what that meant, but it looked pretty good. And Dan says this. He starts off with, hi, Timbo. Just had to say a big thank you for the E-Myth's Michael Gerber interview. I have always liked the phrase work smarter, not harder, but never really knew what it meant. I do now. Your discussion with Mr. Gerber, it's very formal, Mr. Ianson. Your discussion with Mr. Gerber illuminated me to this concept, and I immediately purchased his book, The E-Myth Revisited. The first chapter felt like it was written specifically for me, and as I started to make the changes outlined in the book, I not only felt an immediate impact on my business, but felt a rejuvenated passion for my business that I've been searching for some time now. That's awesome. Love it. Keep up the great work, Timbo, and I'm looking forward to your new podcast coming out soon. Kind regards, Dan. applieddesign.net.au. Hey, thanks, Dan. And that new podcast, it's been delayed a little. It is called The Idea Exchange. I mentioned it in an episode a few weeks ago. By way of update, it's underway. And in fact, I'll give an update next week. That's what I'll do. I won't bother you with it now. We're in the Monster Prize Draw, and this is all about Dan. Dan, you have won, for your troubles, boxing gloves from Fitness Enhancement. They're valued at $40. Access to Jeff Anderson's video marketing course. That's $197. $50 Snackwise sample box. $500 worth of Liar's non-alcoholic spirit range. In fact, over $500 worth. Say a Skincare's Basin Essentials pack. That's $79. A box of Mr. Lee's noodles, $30. A $50 Sendall voucher. A $100 voucher to buy some Tradies undies. Plus, this is priceless, promotion on the show, this show, and a backlink in the show notes. Google love that because my website's quite Google juicy. Is that a phrase? Is that an SEO kind of term? I don't know. Hey, to enter, if you haven't, you want to win, because you can, send me an email, tim@timreid.com.au. Tell me one idea you've implemented on the show. If I read it on air, you win. Well, how are we going? I reckon that's almost brings us to the end of episode 476 of the award-winning Small Business Big Marketing Show. Thanks to the good guys at Amex. Check them out. Search Amex Business. I dare you to see their range of business cards. There will be one there for you. I have almost no doubt. Like, I don't know your business intimately, but they could certainly help you with a bit of cash flow, earn a few points, go on a holiday sooner. Check them out. Search Amex Business. Next week, we catch up with masseur and healer to the stars, Kim Power. She's awesome. She's created that business. It's been in hotel rooms for like 30 years. Those little cards that offer mobile massage. Do you know it? I know it. I met her a couple of weeks ago at a speaking engagement that I was doing. She came up and I said, "What are you doing?" She said, that was it. I was like, "That's an awesome business. That's like a really famous business." So we have a chat to her about, massaging celebrities like, Tony Robbins, Richard Branson, Kylie, Lady Gaga, list goes on. And we talk about partnerships because she's got partnerships with the biggest hotel chains in Australia and lots more. Don't forget there's an entire back catalogue of interviews over at smallbusinessbigmarketing.com where you can also buy my marketing book, The Boomerang Effect. If you love the Small Business Big Marketing Show, then let another business owner know about it by grabbing their phone and subscribing for them. Give them a little lesson, a tutorial in how to subscribe to a podcast. And then make the Small Business Big Marketing Show the first one. Until next week, I am Timbo Reid. You're not, I am. Thanks for tuning in. May your marketing be the best marketing. Bye for now.